Hey, good, you're back. I'm back. If you want to watch part 2, part B, you have to go to Facebook/Dan the Art Man. Okay, so I am to level or layer 3 in this portrait of Tony Bennett in the style of illustrator CF or Chris Payne. What I have here is a drawing in graphite and or Prismacolor pencil. On top of the drawing, well, then I sprayed it. Then on top of the spray, on top of the drawing, I have a acrylic flat areas of color. Especially, this is important with regard to the flesh tones. Okay, so this is acrylic, impervious to anything I put on it. Now I'm doing watercolor washes. Ooh, and I'm having some trouble right there. Let's see if I can scrub that in. There we go. Okay, so now I'm doing watercolor washes over the entire painting. Flesh tone, darker flesh tone. I could go around the shirt if I want to. I'm not sure if Chris would avoid the shirt at this point. I really don't know. He doesn't explain in great detail, but I don't think he would. I think he'd go right over it just like I'm doing right here. Okay, so far this looks pretty dumb. So far, like, what are you doing? So basically, don't want any texture, just let the watercolor level out over the entire drawing. Now let me see if that's dark enough. You know what, that is not quite dark enough, so I'm going to go a little bit darker. I've got a burnt umber and black and a burnt sienna up here. Just want to go a little bit darker on the face. So it means I'll do a little bit darker over the whole thing. By the way, once again, I'm working on crescent illustration board, cold press. That means it's got a little bit of a tooth to it. And the acrylic paints, by the way, had a little bit of gesso. Plain, old-fashioned, in this case, cheap gesso mixed in, especially with the flesh tones. And already, do you see how that we're getting kind of a dotty, spotted texture in the face there? Actually, more than I want, more than I would have expected. But I will say, it's starting to look. Have I got this line? No. Okay, you can see it. It's starting to look. I've wanted for a minute there. Let me turn this off so you don't get so much glare. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. High class operation here. High class production. You tune in for the teaching, not for the quality of the production. And I am working on the production, but that's the point for another day. Okay, so far, let me see if my hair dryer is plugged in. I sure would like to use a hair dryer right now if I can. Ah, here, good. Pardon the noise. Give me just a minute. Okay, that's probably good enough. Now, I don't think Chris does this, but I'm going to grab my little cheap cotton glove that I've cut off these 4 fingers. That's to keep any moisture that's in my hand off the painting. Now, here's where Chris's technique, and forgive me again, I knew him as Chris 30 years ago, even though he professionally goes by CF. And I don't know if his friends call him CF or not. Doesn't matter. CF. Here's where good old, what is it? Chris Fox. Yeah, CF. Chris Fox Payne. P-A-Y-N-E. Here's where he gets brilliant. Are you listening to me? In fact, let me talk to you face to face. Okay. This is where his technique begins to really get traction. There is a universal principle. I can see my hair and it's irritating me. There is a universal principle that the shortest route from start to fully modeled image. What do I mean by modeled? What I mean, let me show you some of Chris's work. Here's some samples of his work. Very, very three-dimensional. The word modeled in illustration or painting means very definitely rounded. You can see the roundness of that nose, see the roundness, dimensionality, very three-dimensional. Shading, very subtle shading. Are you with me? That is maybe the number one characteristic of all of Chris's illustrations, is this superbly modeled image. Okay, so let me start my sentence again. The shortest route from flat paper, flat canvas to modeled image, listen to me, is subtractive. This is what it's called, sfumato. That's an Italian word that means smoke. We ready to eat? Okay, I just got. Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, yeah. Sfumato means smoke. It means, and this is how it's accomplished. This is how Leonardo da Vinci did the Mona Lisa. He put paint down, then lifted it out, and that's what I'm talking about. It's the lifting out. Lifting out, negative painting, reverse painting, lifting out is the fastest way to accomplish a modeled subject matter. Okay, so what I have here now is watercolor on top of acrylic. That means, of course, watercolor is never, inert. It's never static. That means I can take a small brush here and begin lifting up. This is the genius of C.F. Payne's technique. Not only does he do it once, if you stick with me for part C and D, he actually does lifting out in his technique twice, 2 times, 2 different layers, 2 completely separate layers. He does negative painting. Okay, now this could take hours, especially if I mess up very often, like I kind of just did right there. But so you don't want to watch me. You don't need to watch me do it for hours, but you need to watch me do it for just a few minutes. Do you understand the concept? There's watercolor on top of acrylic. The acrylic is impervious. It's going nowhere. It's like plastic. It's a plastic toy. It's a plastic truck. Okay? But the watercolor, of course, is going somewhere. Every time I wet the watercolor and lift it up, and I'm going to have to practice a little bit here. This is me imitating Chris Payne, so I'm not very good at it, but I'm going to learn a lot really fast while I'm doing this. It's coming out a little bit too stark. Oh, also, you can use a rag, and you can use a Q-tip. For instance, I'm going to go up here in the... Okay, and again, that's too stark, so that's not working for me. Again, I'm sure Chris knows exactly how to do all this, and I don't. So it's going to take me a little bit of experimentation. That's part of the reason, in fact, why I am imitating, because I want to be able to do his technique again, not just one time today and tomorrow, but I want to get halfway good at it. Right now, I'm a good bit less than halfway good at it, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to learn how to take out just the right amount. But again, let me repeat myself. A subtractive technique known as sfumato, modeled by Leonardo da Vinci in the Mona Lisa. The subtractive technique is the fastest way to achieve a highly modeled painting image. Got it? And Chris Payne, in his technique, he does subtractive painting not once, but twice. The first time with watercolor, the next time you'll see in oil is with oil paint and a kneaded eraser. I'm getting ahead of myself, giving secrets away ahead of time. But I hope it's enough to keep you coming back. Okay? So again, this is way too stark, way too rough. It may be that my watercolor is too dark on this layer, but I'm going to keep modeling it till it's just the way I want it. Does that make sense? Whoops, like that was too strong. So the tissue thing's not working so well. But it will work. Trust me. Like that's way too cartoony, way too hard edge. Let me demonstrate though. So what happens if you, in fact, get it too hard edge? Well, it's real easy, right? All you have to do is grab a larger brush. I could probably just take the watercolor that's already here and spread it out. Not quite. Let me pick up some new watercolor. You see, so I've come back in here and redarken that area. I'll let that dry, and then I'll come back and lift it out more carefully here with greater degree of understanding, which of course I'm gaining by the minute here. Again, Chris Payne has been doing this for 30 years, and I've done precisely one painting in my life before using his technique. So you're watching me experiment. But it's a brilliant technique because he does subtractive painting twice in the course of doing one of his portraits. Okay, that's enough for you to watch for right now. My next episode will probably be on YouTube. That'll be letter D, the fourth stage, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, will be on YouTube /Dan the Art Man. But that's good enough for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you find this interesting and instructive. And if CF Payne ever sees this, I hope he likes it. Hi, Chris. We knew each other in Dallas. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll be back on YouTube in just a little while.